home atop the Hotel Allerton on Chicago's Magnificent Mile, coast to coast and around the world, it's the Don McNeill Show.
The nation is our neighborhood as long as you are there.
Here we go again.
Don McNeill is on the air.
And here's Don.
Welcome. For the purposes of this particular program, I looked up the word end in the dictionary.
Uh-huh.
It said the part where a thing begins or where it stops, and I've been on both ends. The end where it began, and today is the end where she stops. Let me say, though, that these 35 and a half years between the two ends are a great treasure of happy memories that'll keep me smiling inside and out for the rest of my life. And I thought to start things off, even though I have been given the title the King of Corn, I thought, why pull any corny jokes on the last show?
Yeah, that's right.
It's ridiculous. For instance, yesterday, when I went home, all of my grandchildren were walking through the house eating peanut butter sandwiches, and one of them said, "Grandpa, are we going to have a peanut butter sandwich?" And I said, "Oh, no, 'tis the season to be jelly." Now, normally I pull a joke like that, but
Not on the last day.
not on the last day.
No, I don't blame you, Don.
King of Corn. Everybody's been so nice to me lately. Stand up, Mr. Newkirk. Sit down again, thank you. I think it's nice of him on this last program to be prepared to give the last rites. I suppose I ought to explain that, but I don't think I will.
He's wearing a pinstripe straitjacket.
Yeah, the way he's dressed there, he could be almost anything.
Well, no. It's a Nehru suit and it's black, and but anyhow, and a red Rudolph shirt, which. But what you said is true. This is, of course, this is the end of a super era, a legend in your old time. So when I do shows outside of the Breakfast Club, I talk about you as a legend in your own times. You don't mind.
You can talk about me any way you want, as long as you talk about me.
Because and you truly are, and as I said yesterday, but as I want to say again, the five and a half years that I've been on this show with you have been the greatest 5 years in my life because of this show and because indirectly because of you, all the wonderful things have happened in my life.
You had no wife and no children when you came.
That's right. Now I have a beautiful wife and 2 beautiful daughters and a lot of bills to pay and a lot of, But
You should have seen what Don wore on the first show.
Oh, the first show?
+4s and black stockings.
You weren't here. But it wasn't too long afterwards that he appeared. Well, I thought during this show, instead of the usual, we'll have a lot of the usual, of course, but because there's so many people I want to talk to. But we're going to give some of the people who are here an opportunity to ask questions if they want about the show and about things that happened on it and about anybody on it. Because these are things that you at home might be sitting around asking, and I noticed several of the people filled out cards with questions on, good ones. We'll get to them in just a moment. It's funny, with the last program coming up, everybody's been so nice to me lately. I don't quite know how to handle it.
Oh, about tired shining shoes.
Yeah. Well, even my wife, K-Bird.
Yeah, K-Bird.
Yes. Been so gentle and kind. Even though, of course, I spend, like everybody else at this time of year, I spend almost every weekend watching television, just like everybody else, yeah. And football. It was a different story, though, last year. Before I announced my retirement, she walked out of the house on New Year's Day. I recall, I'm sure it was last New Year's Day, because she walked out just as I was changing channels from the Orange Bowl to the Rose Bowl.
Yeah.
Had to be New Year's Day.
New Year's, yeah.
And she just walked around the block a few times, came back in when she saw the truck driver delivering the pizza. And I'll be glad in a way when football is over. It'll be fun talking to her again. I'm just kidding, of course. She's here this morning, and I may even let her have a chance to say a fond farewell. Yeah, I like this one because, as I recall, you wrote it, didn't you, Ed?
The bowling polka?
The bowling polka?
No, that's Eddie McKeon. That's the other Eddie.
Oh, the other Eddie wrote this. Here it is, the bowling polka.
Bowling, how we love it. We do plenty of it. Bowling every evening. How we keep the ball a-rolling. Bowling pins are flying. Everybody's trying to become the bowler who can roll the highest score. Get the gang together and meet us at the alleys. Bring the Joes and Harrys, the Marys and the Sallys. Polish your delivery and get your hook to working. Aiming for the day when you will roll the perfect game. Bowling, bowling, down the alley for a strike. Bowling, bowling, it's the game we always like. Bowling, bowling, hope you hit it fair and square. Let's bring the railroad, have to settle for a spare. Bowling, everybody's bowling. Anywhere you listen, in the alley you can hear the pins of falling. Pinboys, set 'em up and we will knock 'em down. And oh, what fun there is in bowling, bowling, what a game. Bowling, bowling, down the alley for a strike. Bowling, bowling, it's the game we always like.
Well, of course, I do want to thank the gang for taking over for me the last several days. While I was home battling the flu, I thought maybe I could get through this program without it, but since everybody else on the show had it, I had to be with them, you know. And
You didn't want to feel left out.
that's right. Well, I wish I had left them feel left out. Excuse me, I'm still not in the greatest shape of all time. So I'm going to do something here. We've had music to wash dishes by at one time or another for you homemakers. We've had music to get dressed by, remember?
Yeah, right.
Yeah.
Now, this is nothing to sneeze at, this Hong Kong flu. Perhaps if you could suffer to music, those of you who are at home, it might help you to feel better. So we're going to have this morning music to get over the flu by. What we'll do here, Eddie, is leave a little empty space every once in a while. And anybody who wants to cough or sneeze can do it in that empty space.
That's nice.
Wonderful.
You ready?
Yes, Don, you remember you were supposed to do this on your clarinet, but the fellas just insisted that I take over and do it because people don't know that I play clarinet, too.
And besides, just the last program, and it doesn't make a difference if you are fired now. We're all out of work. All right. Go ahead. Too close to your radio. Some of those sneezes were a little juicy in here. May have splattered a bit. Sam, I think I'll begin with you. I'm going to give everyone on the show a chance for a goodbye. And after all, I may have at one time or another kidded you during the course of the program.
Oh, I don't remember that.
I don't suppose you did.
One time.
About your weight, perhaps.
Yeah. Mm-hmm.
About your intelligence at other times.
Yeah.
Actually, you are a pretty intelligent guy.
Well, I have more weight than I do intelligence.
No?
You might put it that way.
Remember the other day when I asked you about red china?
Yeah. Mm-hmm.
What did you say about it?
I forgot, Don. That's how intelligent I am.
There you are.
See?
You said it looks fine just so it doesn't clash with the tablecloth.
Yeah. I would say something like that, yeah. Mm-hmm.
But that doesn't necessarily mean you're not.
No,
you're
it
stupid.
doesn't- No, it doesn't mean that at all.
Why don't you say your goodbye?
Well, I would like to say goodbye to all of you, really, and all the people we've worked with at the network and everything for years and years. And especially, I would like to say goodbye to our wonderful audience we've had over the period of years who have kept us going with their little notes and letters and things. And as far as what I'm going to do later on, you don't have to worry about a thing, because the last 20 years, I've been saving string. And I've got a whole warehouse full of it, so anybody, I will meet you all at the door at the end of the show. Anybody wants pieces of string, I have it. I'm in business on myself.
You're in the warehouse.
So you're a string man, huh?
Yes, I'm a string man,
Well,
strictly.
I knew you'd have something interesting going for you. Yeah.
I may branch out to shoestrings and razor blades and things like that.
Valentine, I wonder about him.
I always have.
Yeah. What about you, Eddie?
Well, Don, I want to just say, I want to continue in that vein that Sam started about the wonderful people that we have met on the show through the 35 years we've been together. Actually, the audiences all through the years are the real thing that has made this show go. We do our little part up here, but a little fella like Jimmy Daru, I just got the most beautiful Christmas card from him and his wife and their little family. And these people never forget you. They keep writing to you. Now, I'm sort of in the back row of the band. I'm not one of the major characters like up front, but I'm telling you,
Yes,
these
you are,
people
Eddie,
never
don't you?
forget you. I get Christmas cards, I get birthday cards, and I don't even know how they remember, but they do. And I think that's the most wonderful thing that we've had through the 35 and a half years.
Indeed it is, and I'm sure your wife, Fra is going to miss this show, because think how it was every morning at 6 o'clock. She'd hand you your trumpet and say, take it and blow. What's she going to say now? Huh?
Just blow.
Yeah, I guess so. All right, what show is this?
Stay tuned to Don McNeill in the cold room of the Allerton Hotel in Chicago.
Well, Cassie Taylor, you're one of the newer members of our show and
Yes.
California's contribution to us. Would you like to say your little goodbye before you sing?
Yes, I would. First of all, I would like to thank you for being so good to me, Don. You've given me some very nice compliments since I've been here, and
All deserved.
well, thank you very much. I've enjoyed the rest of the cast also. They've all been good to me, and the guys in the band are really great. And I've had a wonderful time here. I have some fond memories to take back to California with me. I've written a little poem for you, Don.
My
And
goodness.
I wrote it in hurry this morning, and so the rhythm might not be right, you know, like in a song
Like
that you
Sam.
sing. Well, yes, it might turn out like Sam.
Oh, it'll be great then.
So here's how it goes. I'd like to say that Don McNeill has been a groovy boss. To tell it like it is, for words I'd be at a loss. He didn't serve a breakfast every morning to the cast, but he gave instead a rich dessert of joy and laughter that forever in our hearts will last and last and last.
Well, thank you very much.
very nice.
Appreciate it. All right, Kathy.
Little one, you've come to stay, to brighten up our home each day, with your eyes of baby blue, and tiny little toes and fingers too. You have made us happy, dear, and we know you like it here. You will never have a care, 'cause Dad and Mommy always will be there. Splashing oatmeal from your high chair, some in your hair, some in my hair, chewing on your pacifier. How I wish that you were dry. Baby dear, we love you so, and we both want you to know you're all ours, we must confess. You tiny, little grimy, little mess.
And a course, no one could have written that but Sam. I guess you realize
Yeah,
that.
that's one time when you asked me to write a serious song, and I started out.
Almost.
And, but I got carried away.
Interesting to hear the last of the girl singers on the Breakfast Club. Looking out in the audience this morning, I was delighted to see that one of the very first of the Breakfast Club singers is here. And I hate to say that because it was so long ago, and because she looks so wonderful and beautiful now, just like she did then. And believe me, this is not my opinion. It is the opinion of the United States House of Representatives.
Yes, definitely.
This young lady, known as Annette King when she sang with us, now known as Charlotte Reid, has been reelected I don't know how many times from the Aurora district close by here to the House of Representatives of the United States, and certainly is the best-looking thing, if I may be so bold as to phrase it that way, in the United States House of Representatives. I wish she'd come up here for a second, because I want to see Annette King or Charlotte Reid at close hands. Stay away from my germs.
I shall.
How are you, Annette?
Oh, I'm fine, Don.
Seems like old times with you sitting beside me.
Well, it does to me, too. And I'm delighted to be here, except really not for such an occasion. I can't believe that this is the last show.
Well, as I say, you weren't here for the first one, but you were here for one of the first few years
Yes,
of the show.
I was.
Yeah.
It was almost the very first.
Yeah.
And you know, as I have traveled throughout the country as a member of Congress, I've spoken in many of the states, and every place I go, people remember that I sang on the Breakfast Club. This is one thing that means so much to them. And they're always asking about you, and I tell them some very nice things.
Thank you very much. Thank you for not telling all you know. And thank you also for coming up here. And what an occasion. I gave you a microphone. You could have made a whole political speech, and you didn't.
Well, no, and you're tempting me.
Yeah, well, I guess I am. I better watch it.
I just, I wondered if, since this, and I haven't thought of this probably since I did it the last time, but this did refer to Breakfast Club, thought I might do that little ditty that I
Oh, that'd be
did.
great.
Would you like to have me do
I
that?
sure
If
would.
I can remember it.
I hope you can.
Well, I was asked the question, really the very first night I went to Washington 6 years ago, and this was at the Women's Press Club, and they asked me this question: you sang for your breakfast. Now, what will your tune be in the house? So I answered in this way. Ladies and gentlemen, you stated that I sang for my breakfast in years gone by. Well, it's true that I sang many years ago, but the tune will be different in the Washington show. I sang about June and the stars above, then I threw in the moon and a bit of love. Now the tune is so simple, though tried and true, about economy in government and what's best for you. I won't forget the national debt. I'll do my best to curb that deficit. These complicated problems require finesse, but at times it takes finesse for success. Now, it's been said that a woman like me should be seen and not heard in such company. So I'll sing very softly in harmony, and I'll add just a touch of counter melody, just to prove that I appreciate this chance to serve and to legislate. Now, I hope you'll accept this jest in rhyme, for I couldn't resist beating the time, but I promise you I won't digress. Well, I'm a member of Congress. Well, I'm a member of Congress.
Thank you, Charlotte. Thank you. Well, I just hope that when we all leave the show, we can make one half the contribution to the country and its welfare that she has. It's really, we're very proud of her, very proud indeed.
I think that's one of the finest arrangements Eddie Valentine's ever arranged.
Yeah. On the whole number, it said tacit.
Yes.
They handled it very well. Interesting thing about Annette King or Charlotte Reid is that she's sitting next to someone who wasn't even thought of when she was on the show. And I noticed my youngest son, Bob, dropped in here for the last show this morning. It's good to see him. You might put a microphone in front of his face here. Bob, as I say, you weren't here when this whole thing started, but I'm glad you're here when it's finished.
Well, thank you, Dad. I was thinking to myself that the first 8 years of the show, are a little blurred in my memory, but the last 27 have been awfully good.
Yeah. That's his age, yes. Bob's an investment counselor here in Chicago now, and the proud father of 2, a girl and a boy. How are they holding out these days?
Pretty well. Very well.
Good.
It's a question of how we're holding out, taking care of them.
Well, I know you're doing very, very well, and we're all attempting, if we have the flu bug, to keep it from everybody else. So they're not over at our place quite as often as we'd like, but as soon as all the bugs are gone, why, they'll be back, I hope.
Well, I'm sure they'll be back.
All right, that's Bob, and oldest son Tom might drop in, too, before this is over. Don can't, because he's in the east at Princeton. How about Bob singing a song?
Oh, how peaceful this gentle sound from heaven. Love thy neighbor rings out the message clear. O'er the rooftops, the evening bells at 7, softly calling everyone to hear how our daily cares the Lord may banish when the bells caress the busy town tenderly. Our fears and tears all vanish as the perfect love of God smiles
There's lots more of the Don McNeill Show to come on the American Entertainment Radio Network, so don't go away. We'll be back.
Hello, this is Peggy Lee. Whether you're at home or on the go, radio puts the world at your fingertips. There's great music and entertainment, too. Pleasure is never more than a dial away. Enjoy the good companionship of radio wherever you go. It's one of the real pleasures of modern living.
WLS-FM in Chicago, 94.7.
Paul Harvey News and Comment. Brought to you by Bankers Life and Casualty Company of Chicago, offering the policies of the famous White Cross Plan. Now, Paul Harvey News.
Good morning, Americans. The news wrote itself this morning. I just sat there at the typewriter and furnished the fingers. Our spacemen are right now hurtling toward Earth almost 25,000 miles an hour, faster than man has ever moved before. It'll be a hot, fast, and scary re-entry, and the first time we've landed astronauts in darkness. But aboard the Yorktown, all is ready, including a cake the Navy baked for the homecoming, a 540-pound cake. But what'll you bet? The first thing those fellas are going to want is a soapy shower bath. So successful has this flight been that NASA is now talking about putting American footprints on the moon next April. Oh, that woman is back in the news. Madeleine Murray O'Hare, who got prayers removed from public schools, now demands that our astronauts be prohibited from praying in outer space. Medical, Hong Kong flu remains epidemic and increasing. Flu-related deaths doubled last week. What's new? A furnace for your house, miniaturized. The iron octopus in your basement soon may be no more. Raytheon has developed a gas burner so efficient it may reduce a home furnace to the size of a 2-pound coffee can. Page 2. You've heard that hospital costs have soared to over $54 a day. Of course, you and I can't afford that risk, because at the same time that $54 a day would be going out, the bills would be piling up at home. We would have to mortgage the house, maybe go deeply into debt, erase the life savings. So, what we do is ask the big insurance company to stand by. We pay the insurance company a little every month just for protection against those astronomical costs of being sick or hurt, because the cost of hospitalization is likely to go to $100 a day very soon, according to the experts. But you say, you'd rather save your money for a rainy day rather than let the insurance company save it. Well, how would you like to do both with the same dollars? How would you like to have a kind of hospitalization insurance that isn't going to cost you anything if you don't need it? That's right. You stay well and get all your money back. That's exactly what Bankers White Cross is offering now, a kind of money-back health insurance. We take your premiums, invest your money, make money with your money, so if you never get sick, never get hurt, never cost us anything, we're going to give you all your annualized premiums back in cash. Write to me today and I'll see that you get free a little book that explains this wonderful new kind of money-back health insurance. It's called the Gold Book, and a copy of it's free to anybody within the reach of my voice. My address is Paul Harvey, Box 7196, Chicago. In the spotlight, the Davis Cup. This symbol of world supremacy in tennis belongs to the United States for the first time in 5 years. This year, our boys crushed them. Oh, the elbow of Blackhawk Bobby Hull. Well, an elbow to the face is what re-broke a cheekbone. But it is wired together, and Bobby Hull will miss only 2 games. Coach George Allen fired? He's led the Los Angeles Rams to 3 very good seasons. But the sometimes moody owner of the Rams, Dan Reeves, says their personalities clashed. Actress Connie Stevens, the present Mrs. Eddie Fisher, is mother of a baby girl named Tricia. Tustin, California, where Walter Winchell Jr. put a pistol in his mouth and killed himself, he, 33, had been working as a dishwasher. The family was receiving welfare. He had tried suicide last Christmas. And you know by now, Pamela Powers is dead. They found her body frozen to the ground on the edge of a rural cornfield, and Robert Anthony Williams is charged with murder. Oh, one thing more. At a truck stop near Bristol, England, a truck driver wanted to make a phone call, then another truck driver, then another. 3 of them waited, but the outdoor public phone booth was occupied by 2 young men talking interminably to their girlfriends. Impatiently, the truck drivers rapped on the phone booth window. The young men inside waved them away, kept on laughing and talking with their girlfriends. After half an hour of this, the truck drivers calmly fetched a length of tow rope from one of their trucks and wrapped it around the telephone booth, round and round and round, and then tied it securely and drove away. Paul Harvey. Good day.
Remember, for complete free information on the Guaranteed Future Plan for Children, write to Box 7196, Chicago. Paul Harvey was presented today by Bankers Life and Casualty Company and came to you from Chicago.
And here we go with more of the Don McNeill Show on the American Entertainment Radio Network.
Some of the folks that are here today have some questions for us. Donnie Keeley of Sioux Falls, South Dakota. Where are you, sir? Is a gentleman who has one. What is your question, Donnie?
I was wondering how many of the original cast are still on the show, and also the musicians.
Well, Eddie Valentine is the only one who was here at the very beginning with me. The rest joined as we went along. Don't let the lack of hair fool you. They're really not that old.